Rational perspective on Chelsea 1, Man City 0. Chelsea back in the FA Cup final again. This club is going to be the death of me. I have to say I was pacing in front of my TV for the last 20 minutes, 25 minutes plus added time. What an incredible win, and so many emotions right now. What an extraordinary job Thomas Tuchel has done. That's my first instant reaction to this game, and apologies if this is just a bit of a reaction more than sort of a tactical analysis, because you can get into that as well, how good it was, how masterful it was from Thomas Tuchel. But what he's been able to do, given how low this club felt in January, what he's been able to do in several big games now, proving that Chelsea can compete with the best out there again, and we've put ourselves in an incredible position, to win this competition this season and redeem the defeat to Arsenal last season in the FA Cup final. I felt the players, I know not all of them were in that final last year, but you felt there was a feeling of upward momentum tonight, and a feeling of unity that we've seen growing with this squad to get through tonight, because they want to redeem that. They want to win this trophy. And it was an old school Chelsea performance. It was a brilliant defensive performance once again. It was a counter-attacking performance. I think the way Tuchel made big calls tonight, and like has been the case for all of his time as Chelsea's head coach so far, those big calls paid off. The preamble to sort of the game was Tammy Abraham, him being left out of the squad. I will make a video on that because I still think that's something to get into, but the big call he made was, of course, bringing back Timo Werner, was bringing back Hakim Ziyech, Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal. The rest of the team was pretty much first choice. I think, you look at the back three, you look at the midfield two, Reece and Ben. It was pretty much a first team with the exception of those three players, I think, with, of course, Mason Mount joining Ziyech and Werner, the front three that started against Liverpool in the win at Anfield. And both Werner and Ziyech were so effective in this game, and you could see exactly why Thomas Tuchel was using them today. The way they combined, the way we've seen this several times under Tuchel. I guess sort of the hipster phrase to use it is automatons, but just sort of a pattern of play re-emerging and being done over and over again to be effective for Chelsea. We saw it last weekend against Crystal Palace, moving the ball from left to right. I think the way Chelsea used both Werner, the pace of Werner, but also Ziyech making that run from the right inwards to be more of a central striker at times, really paid off for Chelsea. You saw it in the first couple of minutes of the game where Werner broke through, a Ben Chilwell ball through to him, and unfortunately Werner was just offside, but you saw the combination that was there against Atletico Madrid, and we saw it tonight, and that was the deciding goal of the game. I think tactically what Chelsea did so well was really nullify Man City. I mean, Man City, both sides, they changed their goalkeepers. There were several players out. Of course, Kevin De Bruyne got injured early in the second half. But even before then, I think the way Chelsea, in particular in midfield, which is such a key area, but all around the pitch, the way Chelsea nullified what Man City tried to do. Make no mistake, that's an extraordinary Man City team. That is one of the best Premier League teams we've seen in recent years. What Pep has done with that team, I was speaking about them yesterday. Chelsea pretty much nullifying them to an extent where they barely had any looks at our goal. And that is a great setup, and it really helps Kepa Arrizabalaga. And you have to say, despite Kepa's flaws in the past, he hasn't been well protected in the past as well. And I think both Mendy and Kepa are really benefiting from a structure in front of them defensively that's helping them out. I think Chelsea's more cautious approach under Thomas Tuchel really comes to the fore and looks very useful in games like this. At times, I do get frustrated that we are a little bit more cautious in games where I think we could probably go for it a little bit more. But in games against Man City, where you expect to not have most of the ball, they're going to win the Premier League title. They could win the Champions League and League Cup as well. They could still go and do a treble. They're not doing a quadruple now, thanks to Chelsea FC. You have to understand that there's going to be a sense of you have to compromise, and that's what Thomas Tuchel has done so brilliantly in his time as Chelsea's head coach, being able to create a system that's structured, that's solid, that's together but effective when it needs to be. And Chelsea once again clinical. Ziyech could have scored a second. He should have scored a second. The way Stefan ran out of his goal again, I don't know what Stefan was doing, and you sort of saw second choice goalkeepers. Chelsea barely tested Stefan back in January when he was in goal for the game at Stamford Bridge. They did tonight, and he really paid the price, and I think that Chelsea with that counter-attacking move. Mason Mount, of course, involved as you expect. Brilliant ball through to Timo Werner, utilising his pace in behind and then slotting the ball to an open and an empty net for Hakim Ziyech to roll in. And that was 1-0, and Chelsea hung on from there. There was a few shaky moments. There was a few heart and mouth moments where balls came into the box. City were very much forced to look out wide, very much forced to cross into the box a lot of the time because Chelsea had congested and sort of restricted all the space in that middle for even Phil Foden to exploit. So it was trying to go out wide. But the physicality of Thiago Silva, of Antonio Rudiger, of Cesar Azpilicueta, I don't know if there was something in him because, of course, if you remember, in the Arsenal final, he got injured very early on and went off in tears. I don't know if there was that part of it, but we know Dave's experience. I think one-on-one, there was a moment with Raheem Sterling, one of those devastating players that you don't want one-on-one with Dave. I think incredible from Azpilicueta, and he's played the most minutes under Thomas Tuchel so far, and I think it's a credit to what for me is a Chelsea legend, still being such a key player in the first team. I think the way both Kante and Jorginho did their jobs wonderfully. Nothing out of the ordinary, but so efficient in winning the ball back. At times Jorginho being able to be quick with the ball at his feet, get it out to the likes of Hakim Ziyech, and trying to break a lot quicker. I think the way both Ben and Reece, in particular Ben Chilwell, was able to thread those balls through at times. All round tonight, I mean, Kepa Arrizabalaga didn't have to do a lot, but what he was asked to do, he did absolutely spot on. So I think that Tuchel got it so spot on tonight. He really did, and it's a testament to his coaching ability. The last time Chelsea played Man City back in January, if you remember, that was a very dark day. And I was sat here and Chelsea didn't even feel like they were in the same league as Man City, let alone on the same pitch, in terms of it being some sort of a contest. Tuchel has, in a very short space of time, he's doing things that not even like 3 or 4 of his predecessors have done with Chelsea in terms of making us look so unified and solid. A team that can absolutely nullify one of the best team in this country, arguably the best team in Europe right now. They could go on and win the Champions League. Chelsea could be facing Man City in a European Cup final in a month's time. This is massive. I want to win the FA Cup. I've been desperate to win the FA Cup this season. I want to see Chelsea do it. The potential of fans being inside Wembley now for that final. Magic it really is. And the team and Tuchel and the players like Ziyech and Werner, who've had difficult moments this season, a really good night personally for them in a big game for Chelsea coming through. That whole team should feel unified. Another great thing as well, earlier in the day, Newcastle did us a massive favour by beating West Ham United. So Chelsea, I believe, can go 2 points clear of West Ham before we face them next Saturday in the Premier League in that top 4 race. So Chelsea now, going through to the semi-final of the Champions League. That top 4 race for me is still in our hands. Chelsea should be going out there and getting that done by the end of the season in the Premier League and winning the FA Cup. Leicester or Southampton, both difficult teams, both teams that have given Chelsea problems this season. In 2 attempts, we did not beat Southampton. We were beaten soundly by Leicester, but they've had their difficulties recently. But I still think Chelsea will go into that final, not like today, as favourites probably for that final. I don't think we'll have the same underdog mentality in that final, but it gives Chelsea such a wonderful chance to right the wrong of last season. The big wrong, of course, losing that FA Cup final in front of some Chelsea fans at Wembley. Hopefully that'll be the case, and winning Thomas Tuchel's first piece of silverware. This is a massive win. Just another thing I want to say is that I said yesterday that I felt that this could be a chance to bloody the nose of Man City moving into next season. I think it was. I think that's what Chelsea did tonight. I think Chelsea laid down a marker that they can go toe-to-toe with Man City. They've got threats to exploit them in behind, like other teams like Man United and Leeds even have exploited recently, but also completely shut down their biggest threats. That was the incredible thing as well. I think the amount of attacking talent, even their second string side failed to utilise tonight. I think it is even more impressive what Chelsea did. A player like Jorginho really thriving tonight. Probably one of his biggest performances. I don't think it was his best performance. I think N'Golo Kante probably was the better of the two. But just the fact that Jorginho can be in that midfield and have a big performance. And all across that team, you're looking at 7, 8 out of 10s for me. Big result. Give this video a like, please. Hit that subscribe button and a notification bell. We're going to be talking about more about this game, of course, in the coming days. Chelsea are into the FA Cup final, and I'll see you again.